What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast. We talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up?
What's going on? So it's just us riding. I was about to say solo, but it's two people, so that doesn't make sense. Only two of us instead of four this week. So definitely continue to tune in. Check us out on Monday and Tuesday where our topics, Wednesday discussion. Today's Ask a CISSP. I have one ready to go, so I just need to publish it. And then Fridays, like today, is everything else. So if you came here for the cyber, it'd be very little of that and more of the ha-ha, he-he's. All right? So definitely check us out for that one. But yeah, it's just me and Shannon. So Shannon, without further ado, how was your week?
Well, it started off pretty good because my Ravens of Baltimore beat the Bills of Buffalo. It started out pretty good, right? So I ain't mad at that, right?
You punched us in the face.
Just now sound like Hakeem from Coming to America. He's describing the Jets game. The Jets of New York. No, man, it started out pretty good because, I was like, oh man, the way they did Jacksonville, I was like, I want no parts of that. We weren't starting out that well this season. We made it happen, so not bad.
Run game was immaculate. Like everything was immaculate. To be honest with you, so I got to give you credit where credit's due. But I was like running into a freight train. Like this dude just kept going through the middle on us. It's like, yo, figure it out.
He's got legs like everybody else. Go for him, right? Like that's how that was. So, no, it was pretty good for me anyway. You maybe not so much, but
make it up today. We got to gain a day. How will we make it up?
Yeah. But no, that was pretty good. What did I watch? So I continued watching. So there's a new TV show, Dr. Odyssey. The second episode of that came out. I'm like, I don't know, man. Like I find like as I'm watching some of these shows, I've told you guys this. I don't know if I've necessarily said it on the podcast, but I've said it offline. Like, I'm a very good judge of character on what I'll like just by watching a trailer or something like that. Like, you give me a little bit, I'm like, nah, I'm pretty sure that's not for me, right? And I'm usually very good, but I'm trying to step outside of my comfort zone because everyone else around me is like, oh man, this is such a good show, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, well, maybe I'm missing out. And then I watch the shows and I'm just like, nope, it's exactly as I thought it was. Like, it's not for me. So like, my big thing is I try to give it at least 3 episodes or something. Right? Like if it's a TV show, give it 3 episodes, go there. So I watched the second one and I'm just like, nah, this is that typical network TV. There's some drama, there's a love story, but like I said last week, I thought it was more like House on the Ocean, like the TV show House. Because like TV show House, I like that, right? Like he's a jerk. He's treating his residents poorly, you know what I mean? But like there's always something that comes out of it. But this not so much. I think they're gonna lean more into the romantical equation of it, and I'm just like, that ain't for me, man. Like when I'm watching stuff to be entertained, I don't need to see real life stuff. I don't need to see drama that I see in my everyday life, right? Give me something different. This is supposed to be the escape from that. So yeah, maybe one more, and then I'll be like, all right, not for me. Watch the second episode of The Penguin. Have you started watching that or no?
No, I haven't started yet. I was hoping it was going to be good.
You might like it. It is dark, but it's more of like the Batman, the movie with the sparkly Batman, I guess you could call it. Like if he goes out in the daylight, he sparkles. Batman. Like I was not that big a fan of the movie. Like I've only seen it once. I saw it the one time, and I haven't watched it again. Because like
it was also long as hell though.
It was
a very long movie. Yeah,
it was, and like when I thought on it, I was like, well, 2 things I didn't like. I didn't see Alfred that much, right? Like Alfred is the right hand man to Batman. You should see him a little bit more. But I think what they were trying to do was more of they didn't call it Batman Year One, but that's what it was, right? Like, and you kind of pointed this out. You're like, he doesn't swoop in or come out of the shadows or whatever. He's walking down the steps to go, take care of some criminals. Right? That's not how Batman.
Remember, he ran to that car and the one thing, and I was like, ooh,
yeah. So it's like he's got some, this is early Batman to where he's got some stuff to figure out, right? And I understand that, but there was only so he didn't talk to Alfred much, and there was only 4 fight scenes that I can recall off the top of my head in that movie. For it being so long, wasn't a lot of action. You know what I mean? I'm like,
it's more of a detective story. Like this is Detective Year 1, Year 2 Batman.
And I like detective stories though, but it wasn't even like they tried to highlight that much, right? Like
Hmm.
Batman, they show him coming to the conclusion of how he did those things, right? Like he used some type of technology or he did something. He's the great detective, as Raj used to call him, right? Great detective, you know what I mean? But I'm not feeling it with the Penguin because like and the thing is they've done this every episode. They have a good action scene, right? And then it's the whole in the background plotting. Like I guess it's kind of cool if you like that thing because Oswald is out here setting it up. Like he's trying to get to the top and he's setting people up to do it. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So but you'll probably enjoy it, but I'm like, man, the one action scene happened and then it was like, all right, I guess no more of that, right? Like I don't know. I just don't not for me, more than likely.
Gotcha.
But again, got to give it 3. It was only the second one. The third one actually, is today. I think it releases today because, like, with HBO Max, like all their Prime shows that they do, they always do the Sunday 9 o'clock slot, right? Like they just
Right, right.
rotate when they do it, right? But yeah, it's if you watch it, I think you'll like it. But you may say the same thing as me, like, man, it's just a lot of talking. You know what I mean? One
This
action scene.
Colin Farrell's.
Colin Farrell, and it's a like he was in the movie. He was in the Batman movie, but like this prosthetics they put on him, I'm like, that does not look like him. It does not look like him. Like I can't see it, even though I know who the actor is. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's like when you finally know who the actor is, you're like, okay, yeah, now I can see it. So like in Tropic Thunder, when Tom Cruise was playing Les, whatever the guy's name was, the studio, I was like, I did not know it at first. I saw it in the credits at the end. I was like, what? And then every time I see him, I'm like, yeah, I see Tom Cruise in there, right? Like I did not know. But this one, like I know it's Colin Farrell, and when I look at him, I'm like, man, your guys' makeup team, they're gonna win an Emmy or whatever category it falls under for that, right? Like they're good at what they do. But no, it is interesting what he is doing. I like the premise of what he's doing and how he's going about trying to get into power. But I think I'm just like, maybe if you put this down to 40 minutes, maybe, like you got all this extra time to where I'm like, I don't need all this extra, right? But it's the setup for it. And my fear, see, and here's the thing, here's my fear, and this is what I run into a lot. The payoff at the end doesn't really pay off. So like they'll go through and do all this stuff, and I'll have watched 6 or 8 episodes, and at the
Mhm.
end, I'm like, that payout was not worth it to me. I should
Right,
not have
right.
wasted those 6 or 8 hours. But I would say you at least give it a try. I know you like to wait for stuff to come out so you just stream it all at once, right? You're like, I'll wait for it to end and then just catch
I was trying to wait for it to go a little bit before I
right.
jumped into it.
Yeah. So, like I know that's your jam, but yeah, man, it is yeah, not for me. And I may watch the third episode and be like, and that's usually how it happens. They'll hook me for a little bit to get me to fall. I'm like, you got me. You know what I mean? Like you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. We'll see what they do, but yeah, I'm not feeling it that much. But yeah, it was not a lot of watching. I mean, I'm trying to get into Madden, man, and I spend more time trying to build a team. Like it's crazy to me because as I'm doing a franchise, I will leverage my future. Right? I'm like Les Snead from the Rams. For people that don't know, the general manager for the Rams for years, he was just like, forget them picks, man. Like I'm trying to win a Super Bowl, and it worked. Right? But then you have to go into that lull where you have no picks and you're gonna suck, right? But you're hoping the money you made from winning a Super Bowl carries you over, right? So I'm kind of like, it's a video game, right? So I'm like, I don't care. I'll leverage 2025, 2026, 2027 first round picks all day. Give me this proven entity in the game, but it doesn't ever pan out. I end up just being like, I can't stand this, you know. And like I'll never tell my wife like this, but I think she's a bad luck charm. Like the few times I play it, like she'll come down and watch, and then like that's when some crazy stuff happens. I'm like, I've played a game before this to where this did not happen. I was like, and then you sit down next to me, and all of a sudden, you know, players are diving behind players. Like I showed her one, she was like, "It looks like his hands are inside of the player." I said, "That's because they are. The hands went through the player, and he ended up not intercepting the ball. Like the player caught it and then like turned and ran." I'm like, "At least tackle him. Like you have no motion detection to where that person even went down." And it's like the thing with EA, it seems like every time they patch Madden, it reverts back to the old stuff playing about. Like when it first releases, it's like, okay, they got rid of this, they got rid of this. Like the super jumps are back. Players not paying attention and looking at stuff, and then they turn around and super jump and get an interception. I'm like, are we doing this again? Like you guys even put out on your EA notes or whatever it is, like that's a thing of the past. Like no, every time you update it, it seems to come back. But yeah, but that's kind of it for me, man. Like nothing much. What about you, man? Tell us about this. Tell us about this vacation, man. Tell us what's good.
So Disney with the kids is never a true vacation. Yeah, I love it. I'm a big fan of Disney, right? So I haven't been there since 2021. So it's been a few years. So since the last time I've been there, they finished a bunch of rides. So that was cool. And then we get the passes so we can, the lightning lanes or whatever, so we can skip the traffic and what have you. And then it was the day after the storm. The weather was really good, so to speak, right? Because it's not scorching hot and what have you. But we went to Magic Kingdom, Epcot. So yeah, day one was Epcot. Then we went to Magic Kingdom, and then what was the other one?
Animal Kingdom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Animal
Animal
Kingdom
Kingdom.
was the last day. Yeah, yeah. We didn't do Hollywood Studios this time. Yeah, so I got to get on the Tron ride that was at Epcot. So that was always under construction every time we go to Disney in the past. So that was fun. Guardians of the Galaxy was done, so we went on that one. That was probably the best roller coaster I had been on at any of the parks, right? So like the Velocity uh, coaster for Jurassic Park, that one's always really good. It's like one of those magnetic ones that shoot you off, right? So super fast. I would say Guardians of the Galaxy was
Is that Disney or Universal?
Disney.
Really, Jurassic Park? Okay.
I think so. Now I'm down myself. Yeah, it's Disney. Yep, that's Disney. Is it Universal?
They're in the same city pretty much, right?
Is
Like,
it
so it's
Universal?
like,
It might be Universal. You might be right.
because like that's a Spielberg jam, right? And he's not a Disney guy. Like that might be Universal Studios they filmed that out of.
You keep talking about it. I'm gonna go look at
No,
this up.
no,
Make sure I'm not
so,
crazy.
so no, it could be, and I'm just not remembering it right because like Disney procures everything, right? So they could have met at that.
Velocicoaster,
About
Orlando.
that.
Orlando what though? Where are you in? Universal. You're right. Universal Islands of Adventure is where it's at. Okay. So yeah, so I would say then Guardians of the Galaxy is probably the best ride at Disney, in my opinion. Because it's super fast, it's hilarious. For some reason or not Tom Cruise, Terry Crews is in it for some reason. Like they have the Guardians are in it, but Terry Crews is like a dude on a ship and he talks you through it. So we did the parent swap on it. So I went the first time with the older kids, and then my wife got to go back on it with RJ. So Junior went back because I like the Disney parent swap because they allow you to take one guest with you. So that way you're not hopping on the roller coaster by yourself when the other parent gets on. So they said that it broke at one point, and they actually have some funny Terry Crews banter when it's broken. He's talking about how they're fixing it. So I was like, that's hilarious. Like, I kind of wish I had experienced that too.
But that's the reality of it, right? Like so like Disney has so much money. They're like, all right, we need to take into consideration what is going on here, right? We can't just
Yeah.
have people sitting here with nothing to entertain them because then they'll just be walking away and be like, I spent money, I want my money back. You know what I mean? But that's interesting that they do that. They're very aware of themselves, and that makes for something great, right? So like you that parent swap thing, like that's never a thing for us whenever we go to amusement parks because my wife ain't getting on no rides. She's like, take everybody that wants to go, they're going with dad. Like that's just how that
Got you.
is, right?
Got you.
So like my daughter is young, right? So there's stuff she can't get in that my wife is like, okay, that's tolerable, right? I can get some teacups, but don't spend those too much. You know what I mean? Like,
Got you.
so yeah, but my daughter. So when I took the family to the fair this year, like my youngest, she's 6. Like she's getting to the point now where she's like, spin it, dad, spin it, dad. So I'm like, all right, next time we go to a major, amusement park, like mom, I guess they're all going with me now. You know what I mean? Like that's just how it is. Because she wants to be spun around, and mom is like, I ain't the one.
I ain't down for the spinning.
She's like, I'll hold everything y'all got. I'll hold it out here and wait for y'all. You know what I mean?
Right. So actually, my wife likes roller coasters more than I do. So like she definitely gets it in on the roller coaster tip. But what we found out though is that we're getting older. That thing happens. So it was on Modern Family, and I didn't believe it, where your inner ear, like something about the spinning, causes you to get dizzy. That doesn't happen to you until you get older. So for some people, I'm starting to get that a little bit. Like I'll get off a roller coaster, be like, yo, I'm dizzy than a mug because it had several loops. But when I was younger, I just be like, man, I just get off, just walk off, just be fine. Uh, it's that, and it's the anything that's a wooden roller coaster. I get off, my neck and back hurt. You're like, why was this acceptable when I was younger? Like now it feels like I got into a car crash.
Well, that's the accumulation, right? When you were younger, like your body was invincible, so you
Yeah,
thought, right? Like it was just taking all that abuse. Like, yeah, we could do this. But then as he got older, he'd be like, "Hey man, no, this ain't 20 years ago."
Right. But no, I had a good time. So we did the three new ones, right? Because we did everything that was in all the parks for the most part. But the three new ones were the Tron one. I would say that's my second favorite ride. Like it was super fast. It's very Tron-esque. It's really cool. Like the whole setup is really cool. But it's super short. So like you get in the bike just like the Tron people, right? The little flap goes on your back, and then your knees are in there. I guess those would be the accelerators or whatever. Obviously, the machine's accelerating itself. You hold onto the handlebars. You have to slide them down to lock yourself in place. Really cool aesthetic. Super short though. Maybe because it was just that fast. I don't know. But I got off of it like I would like to get on that again. Like I wish it was a little bit longer. But I didn't have pass for the second time. I was like, I'm not getting that long line. It's not gonna happen. But then Guardians of the Galaxy, that one's super fast as well. Very entertaining. All of the cast has lines in it and what have you, and you're like on a mission. It's pretty cool. So that would be my favorite. And then we got on the Tiana's Bayou ride. So they redid Splash Mountain, and that was a big controversy. I think it was just people were being loud, right? So Splash Mountain was uh, taken down because of this is really old and it needed a revamp. And on top of it, had some undertones, right? Song of the South, all that other stuff. Like so, they replaced it with Tiana. So Tiana got her own ride, right? One of the Disney princesses got her own ride, and it has the new animatronics in it, and they were very impressive. Like I don't know where they get their animatronics from, but anything that was newer, like even their old stuff is still pretty cool. Like your ETs, which is being closed down. Your I always get on the It's a Small World, even though it's like ancient now. It's still very impressive to me, and it always reminds me of the Simpsons episode from Duffland. I don't know if you remember that one. It always reminds me of that. Like I experienced the Simpsons before I experienced Disney's version of it, so it always makes me laugh. But yeah, the Tiana's animatronics were like off the chain. The ride was like they revamped it, so parts of the ride are still like Splash Mountain, like you can kind of remember it, and then it changes. Like so, it had like 2 or 3 drops in it now. Like it's got a little storyline where they shrink you. Like I don't want to spoil too much, but it's really cool. Like I really enjoyed it. Like I said, the animatronics are off the chain, so I'm glad they redid it. Um, that one's a parent swap, and my daughter got on it twice because that's like her princess, right? So like people were like, oh, Disney's woke, yada yada yada. Well, some people do care, right? Like my wife cares about that princess, and my daughter cares about that princess. So just 'cause everything ain't for you or about you. How about that? So that was a great experience. And then I got on like and this one was done years ago. I just never had a pass to it, but they have Pandora at Disney. Like they had Pandora before the merger. Like so before they bought Fox, which was a telltale sign for everybody. They had Pandora was being built for Avatar, right? And they have a ride in that one. It's kind of cool. Like you going through like all the sights and scenes of being on that planet. I forget what the name of it is, but it's kind of slow, right? It's not action oriented whatsoever. So we went on that one. So that'll probably be my least favorite of the three. But there's another Pandora ride that's really cool, but we just didn't have passes for it. That's kind of more of a coaster, but it's a three it's a 3D coaster. It's like you're not really moving, but it feels like you're moving because everything in front of you is moving. You know that type of situation. They have that as well, uh, kind of like Sora, but we just didn't have passes for it, so we didn't hop on that one. Yeah, I had a great experience. I came back super tired. With our nieces, we're a family of 7, so it's a lot of juggling and saying no and get down and walking and pushing strollers and like it's a lot of work. I probably lost like 10 pounds, which I try to replace with sweets and beer. That's what I try to replace it with.
You know what's crazy is I haven't been to. We went to Disney for my father's birthday. Like bought all his kids in and family and everything. And that was
Yeah, I have shirt.
5 years ago. No, we didn't do the matching shirts thing. We didn't do that. But they put us like they went and rented out a house for the weekend. It was like a 9-bedroom house or something like that. It was pretty cool. But I can remember when I was at Disney, I was just like, man, like this is a lot. You know what I mean? It's just a lot to do there, and we really only got a day out of it. Like just to make everybody's schedule work, because even my brother, he showed up late, like he had to work. You know what I mean? And then he was down there with us, came later, but it was a good time. But Disney is my point. When you're at Disney, like, yes, you're paying a lot, but I did not have a bad experience, right? Like the
Right.
food, like I did not have bad food. Everything I ate when I was there was on point. Yes, it's going to cost you more, but it was really good. Like I don't know. So like I don't think I hate on Disney as much as other people. I think I come to the realization that if you're going out for entertainment, like it's just going to cost you nowadays. That's what it is. Plan for it, prepare for
Yeah.
it, right? Don't go there and be like, all right, well, I'm gonna sneak in some wings, in my purse, and I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do like I don't even remember like if they were checking like purses and stuff like that for outside food. I can't remember, but no, Disney is a great experience, man. Like you are gonna pay. Yes, that is the case. I don't even want to go to ITT to look at what the tickets cost now. And at ITT, I know they're cheaper, right? Like you get the passes, 4-day passes, 3-day passes, and whatnot. I don't even want to go to the base and look at ITT and be like, oh man, like that's a lot. You know what I mean? But they do their part, right? And Universal was the same. It's been a while since I've been to Universal, but I think for me, with me having, and really it's just one younger child now, because like my youngest son is 11, and he's to the point where like some of that stuff, like he's slowly changing, right? Like Pokemon is not as prevalent as it used to be. It's anime now, to where it's like, I don't know, like it's like he'll watch it with his brother, and sometimes I'll come up into the loft and see what they're watching. I'm like, hey man, like, oh no, you know what I mean? Like he was like, and my son is very good about, no, it's not as bad as it looks like it's going to go. You know what I mean? But I'm like, all right,
Right.
let's just, the deal, right? Took my son to, I don't know if I ever said this on the podcast. When I took my son to see Deadpool and Wolverine, one of the stipulations was like, hey man, no cussing. You know what I mean? Like what you're gonna see here is gonna be, it's gonna be a lot that you can't say. It was within a week. He was in trouble for something at school, and he was cussing, and I'm just like, I kind of knew it was gonna happen, so it didn't surprise me really. But it's like you're 11 now, right? Like I remember back to when I was 11, and I'm just like, yeah, I was doing the same thing. It's like, yeah, but yeah, these parks, man, they do a pretty good job of entertaining you at the major ones, your Universals, your Disney's, King's Dominion in Virginia, pretty good too. You know what I mean? So yeah, they do a very very good job.
Yeah, we had a blast. Did 3 days, and like I said, it's been like 3 years since we've been there. I just love the Disney experience, but the older kids love Universal because it's just more like rides. You know what I mean? Like it's like ride after ride after ride, and Disney's more about that experience, like lots of shows and stuff. So because now we have two younger kids in the household, right? So like we want to do the Disney thing. So, but everybody had a good time. Like no complaints. And we saw first responders there as well, right? Like they had people stationed there for the storm. So like they would see a muster every morning, every night, and then they were going down, both up and down, right? Like they're from Fairfax County, Virginia, and they would travel down the coast to rescue and help people and stuff like that. But their lodging was Disney lodging, so I thought that was pretty cool. Like that they would house them to be able to do their what they do. So
Hopefully at a discount, right? Like that's the hope, right? Like, if they didn't do it for free, like hopefully at a
yeah,
discount.
I'm sure they did for free, or there's something done, yeah, right? Because they couldn't enter the parks, right? Because they're there to work, they're deployed, but their housing and their food was on resort.
Disney more than likely gets a tax break from that, right? The federal
Something,
government,
yeah,
you know what I mean? They're like, hey, this is what we did. This is our tax write off, right? And again, to them, like we talk about it with major corporations, is rounding errors, like what they did, right? Like
yeah,
it didn't cost them the tens of thousands. Let's say $100,000. Them like it would have cost them if they just had a family of 50 or whatever that went down there
right.
and spent money and did all that. Like to Disney, it's like, yeah, we want to make money, but like we understand what's going on too. Because like you brought up an interesting fact that I didn't realize. You said Disney has only ever closed 7 times for weather
Yeah,
things, like in the life since it's been there. You know what I mean? It's been there since the '60s, late '60s, early '70s, maybe.
something like that, yeah,
So like that's phenomenal, right? Like maybe they did the research ahead of time and be like, if we place it here in Central Florida, in the middle, like not on the coast or anything like that, like we should be good. 7 times, that's pretty good. You know,
Yeah, because we caught ahead because we were like, okay, we don't want to drive up there and not be able to do anything, right? And they were like, no, we're not closing. It's like they probably have their own meteorologists and everything, right? Like top dollar. Um, or people believe in conspiracies, right? They got a weather machine that protects them because they got some kind of mosquito machine. I've never got bitten by a mosquito in the park.
oh, that's true.
And it's a swampland, right?
That's true. Yeah.
So I don't know how they do it, but they do it. But yeah, great experience. And then this weekend we went and saw Beetlejuice. I'm a big fan of the first movie. It came out like '98, I want to say. It was in my top 10. Like it's just like
It was
comfort.
it was in the 80s. It was early 90s. You said 98? It wasn't
Or
that.
is it? Or I'm sorry, '89. '89?
89. Well,
Yeah,
89
'89.
was Batman. It was around the same time he did Batman too, right? Yeah, first Batman, 89, 90, 91, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed it. The original cast was in it for the most part. Some people passed away since then. But I would give it so like it's gonna sound harsh. I'll give it a 7, but 7 is good. So it's good, not great. I give the first movie a 9, right? But it's a kid nostalgia. Uh, Again, they brought back the original cast. It hit a lot of the same story beats. But out of the four of us that saw it, because it was me, my wife, and then my two sons, only me and my youngest son enjoyed it. Both my wife and my oldest son both said it was boring. But it's basically it's not a retelling of the first movie, but it has a lot of the same beats as the first movie. Because like if you enjoyed that one, you enjoy this one. But yeah, my wife enjoyed the first one. She didn't enjoy this one. But the practical effects were off the chain, right? It's very nasty movie. Very little CGI. Most of the stuff was practical. It broke down a little bit more of Beetlejuice's backstory. So that was pretty cool. Like they go through a little bit of his history, and again, they brought back everybody they could. They couldn't bring back the oh man, I forget their last names, but the husband and wife couple. They
The
didn't bring them back.
neighbors.
Yeah, because they would have aged like 30 years, right? So they couldn't look 35 anymore. They could have de-aged them though. Like they could use some of that Disney magic, right? Even though it's not a Disney movie, like hey, let me get that tech. But and then the one guy couldn't come back because he had some. He's not Hollywood anymore. Let's just say that he has some allegations, so he got the boot. But he's still in it somehow, like in it but not in it. Like you had to see the movie to figure out what I'm talking about.
If I'm being honest, I wasn't a big fan of the first Beetlejuice, man. Like I remember seeing it and I haven't seen it in years, but you're not the first one to tell me the second one doesn't live up to what they thought it would be like the first one. Like they're kind of expecting a lot of like the stuff from the first one. So you went from 9 to 7. It's not a big drop, right, in your ratings. I
Yeah,
get that, right? A 7 on IMDb is phenomenal. Like I don't know if you ever look at IMDb ratings, but like if you got a
yeah,
7 on
yeah.
IMDb, it's like, oh, that's the best movie ever made. You know what I mean? They don't have any 10s on there. But yeah, they're like, you're not the first one to tell me that. They're like, yeah, it hit some of the old stuff, you know what I mean? But it just wasn't the same. So, and it could just be that it's been, 30 plus years, you know
Yeah,
what I
it's
mean?
been a
It's
long time.
the previous one. So.
But I can see him doing another one, right? Because you kind of set yourself up for that when the first one's Beetlejuice, the second one's Beetlejuice. Third one has to be.
Has to be Beetlejuice,
It has to be.
right?
But they would have to quickly turn it around because these people are getting up there, right? Like Winona Ryder is Lydia still. Catherine O'Hare, I want to say.
Is the redhead the mom?
Yes, yep. And she's still hilarious. And then Michael Keaton, he's got to be in his 70s now. He's up there.
He's probably pushing, he could be pushing 70. Yeah, he's up there.
He was moving like he moved in the first one. It was crazy to me. I was like, he should not be able to quickly move around like he's doing.
Well, he's back in shape with the new Flash movie, right? So like he's like, I'm
Yeah,
back to training again. So it's because if you think about it, it could have been like right around the same time, right? It could have been right around the same time when he did
that's true.
filming. You know what I mean? So it's just when they do these release dates, like I know with a lot of these studios, they try to avoid other movies too. So like this could have been in the can, right, for a while, and it's just a matter of all right, when do we release where we think we're going to get the most bang for our
Yeah,
buck?
I would assume they would have released in October though. They did it early, right? They did September.
Yeah, that's true because
Yeah,
coming up on
which kind
Halloween.
of blew. Yeah, because when we went, I think we saw one. Like this is gonna be. It's not gonna be in theaters for much longer, but I think it's maybe 20 people in the theater. Like so, like it's this is spooky season. It's about to come out of theaters. Like so, maybe they'll do a quick turn around and put it on streaming and Blu-ray though for the holiday.
That would be really quick. That'd be really
Yeah,
quick.
usually as if you bomb, you turn around.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, so usually at 90 days, no, that might be the right time frame. Usually at 90 days is when it's video on demand and you can buy physical media for it for as long as that's going to last, right? I don't know how much longer they're going to do the physical media when it comes to, your 4K Blu-ray and all that stuff. I mean, but because everybody wants to stick with streaming, right? Like it's cheaper for them to host it, and space is cheap now when it comes to storing that stuff. So yeah, I don't know, man. That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, I think it's a good time. Like, so if you like the first one, I think you like the second one. But again, like now you saw half my family. Like RJ fell asleep. He went to sleep, tightened his hoodie up, did the Kenny circle, and he was knocked out. I was like, well, that was money well spent because movies ain't cheap.
You gotta get on one of these rewards programs, man. Like, but if you go too often, like you're eating up your credits or whatever, because you get like a free credit every month. But like during COVID, like we still kept with the subscription for Cinemark, I think it was. And like when we came out to where we were comfortable going to the movies, it was just like, oh man, like I got so many free credits. Like there was a good stretch there where I was not paying for movies. You know what I mean? Just paying for concessions. Wasn't paying for tickets. So you got to jump on. Got to jump on.
Yeah, I do because we go to the B&B theater. It used to be the Cobb, but now B&B has been rebranded. It's a different family owns it or whatever. But they're building one by me. They're just taking forever. So what they do here is they clear the land. It looks like they're about to start constructing, and they drop grass seed on it, and then they leave forever. People are like, yo.
That must be a Florida and Colorado thing because they're doing the same thing out here, man.
Yeah.
Like they
I guess
build.
they have so many projects or whatever. But yeah, it's supposed to be a theater next to the mall that is not that far away. Like it's like a 10-minute drive from my house. So I'm just like, when that one opens, it's a quarter of the distance from the B2B. So I'm gonna go to that one primarily. I don't know what theater is gonna be though. Like they haven't advertised who is gonna set up shop. They probably did. I could probably find public record somewhere, but I have not decided to Google my way into that one yet. And that's probably what I'll sign up for because it's right down the street. What else did I do? I finished Twilight of the Gods. So that Zack Snyder animated joint I was telling you about. Really good, really really good. I hope they do a sequel or another season, I should say. Like it was action packed. Don't watch it around kids. It's not appropriate. Not just the action, just the adult stuff in it. It's very inappropriate and just brutal, like very brutal. And then new anime, Dandadan, I think is how you pronounce it. It's spelled Dan, but I think it's Dandadan is how they want you to say it. It's a weekly one though, so I gotta wait. So it's on Netflix and Crunchyroll, I want to say, but it's maybe a Sunday airing or whatever. So like it airs in Japan, and then the next day it's here in the States. So far so good. I don't know. I don't think it'll like you have to be the type of person who likes your anime to be weird. Like it's aliens and supernatural in one show. So, but the animation style is off the chain. Like anime is just getting prettier and prettier. Like so that the animation is crazy good. It's pretty quick witted as well. So it's kind of like Ghost Story, but not. Remember the anime I said that they dubbed horribly on purpose, like to make it cringy. It's got the same theme, but it's actually well scripted, I should say, and funny. And I think that's it. That's a lot though. That was a lot for me. And then today I get to watch my Bills go against the Texans. So hopefully they make it up from that Ravens beat down.
They're mad now. Now they're motivated. They're like, all right, enough of this.
Yeah, I'm hoping. But that's 1 o'clock game, so it should be. I don't have to like. We've been playing late, so I've had to stay up a few nights. And I stayed up for that Falcons.
That was a good game. Falcons and Buccaneers.
Yeah, Buccaneers. Yeah.
You stayed up the whole time?
I was tired.
That was late for me, and I'm in Mountain Time. Like I'm like, oh man. But I have early mornings, right? So like, that was probably one of the better games this season, man. I was just like, wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, so far the season's been pretty good. So hopefully we take the W this afternoon. and then we were sitting pretty for a little bit, and then we played Jacksonville. Or I'm sorry, we just played Jacksonville, and then we played Baltimore. Who do we play after the Texans?
No. I think it's the Jets or something. You guys are going to start getting into your
Yeah, you're right.
schedule.
October 14th, we
Yeah.
played Jets. That's a night game. That's 8:15.
Yeah, when you're good. So this is the downside. When you're a good team, you're going to get a lot of these prime time games, and they're at night, right? Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night. Like that's just how it happens, right? Like when you're a good team, you get a lot of those. Like when you look at the Monday night schedule, I want to say the Ravens are on there like 3 times or something like that this year. But like good teams, people want to see the good teams, so that's where they put them, right? Prime time.
Yeah,
They don't get lost in the
a
shuffle.
Monday night game too. I'll be so tired on Tuesday. But the benefits of working from home, I just have to make sure I set my alarm and get up.
Yeah.
No commute. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me, man. And I platinumed Astro. Remember that game I was playing, Astro Bot?
Yeah.
I got platinum.
Okay.
It was very, very much worth it. Very good game. So if you're a Mario fan, this is Sony's Mario, with all of the nostalgia attached to it of all the Sony games. So I definitely enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see more. I just hope that they do something with their enemies. Like it's very generic on that side of the house, right? Like they did all the time to make their character unique, and then set in the world where you interact with other Sony mascots of the past. But then you go against a gorilla, or you go against a giant bird, or you go against an alien, right? And the mechanics of the fights are fun, but they're just not memorable. So hopefully he gets his own cast of villains, or they dig into the Sony bag, get some Sony villains out here for the sequel.
Yeah, because you got was it God of War is a Sony exclusive, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got God of War, you got Uncharted, you got Horizon, and I think so. I don't know if you're into platformers at all, Shannon, but they do some really cool stuff where you get to be some of these mascots. So you get to wield the axe, you get to shoot a specific character's bow. It's pretty cool. Like you get a whole level set in those worlds as well. So I'll shoot you a video, see if it piques your interest.
I don't know, man. Like I don't get I don't get into them as like I know when like when Spider-Man was coming, when God of War was coming, like yeah, like I'm in it for that, but like I don't play video games as much as I used to, man. This is I don't know.
Gotcha.
My PS5 is my streaming thing, right? It's my streaming service
Right.
platform, right? So yeah, I don't get into it that much for sure.
Gotcha. Next on my hit list, though, should come out next week, is that Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero. So that new fighting game, it looks off the chain. I'll send you a video of that. It's got like a roster of 168 characters. Like you go through the entire Dragon Ball storyline. Like it's crazy. So I gotta get that.
Yeah.
Gotta get that. So, but that's it for me. So, not to elongate this episode any longer, but definitely continue to check us out throughout the week. So again, Monday, Tuesday are topics, Wednesday discussion, Thursdays Ask a CISSP, Fridays everything else, movies, books, games, and all that good stuff. I don't think we have any crazy events coming up, but we plan to do some more crossovers and things of that nature with other podcasts before the end of the year. Hit us up by all the websites go by our name, the other side of the Firewall, the other side of the FW, or Ask CISSP. Hit me up personally. I'm at RY Security Guy. That's RY Security Guy. You can find me pretty much on all the social media platforms. Specifically, reach me out on LinkedIn. That's my most active. And then you can also email me. So the website is ramcyber.io, and you can hit me up at rwilliams@ramcyber.io if you want to shoot me an email or what have you. So that's pretty much it. Stay safe. Stay secure.